This was something I wanted to get into last week, Martin. So we haven't really talked about this because there's two parts of this conversation. There's one I'm going to touch on, which is the more newsy, which happened recently, and that is Rob Manfred, commissioner of the MLB, has been making his round, as he usually does, try to get with all 30 teams, have conversations, just to build that rapport with them. Goes to the Philadelphia Phillies and is having a conversation and talking, and then all of a sudden, he and Bryce Harper get into it. And I don't mean get into it like, hey, I just disagree. Oh, really, I disagree. No. The reports are Bryce Harper got into his grill and told him he can get the blank out the clubhouse to the commissioner. And they say the commissioner didn't back down. He said, I ain't getting the blank nowhere. And then Nick Castellanos, Castellanos, I'm trying to say, he had to break it up, blah, 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 kind of be the peacemaker. But there's a larger point here. And that is Bryce Harper told them, man, if you're coming in and trying to have conversations about having a salary cap, and I think this ties to the first conversation that Rob G and I have been talking about having here for a week, we just couldn't get it in. It was so much happening last week. So the commissioner has a cap league, a cap members. It's a group that he calls the Commissioners Ambassador Program, CAP. And a lot of people think he's talking about your cap because what he does, he's hired a bunch of former players to go around and act as liaisons. And what I find interesting is we know baseball is around 6, 7, 8% black, but this is a league, the ambassador group, comprised of a lot of brothers. CC Sabathia being the biggest name, but then you also have Ryan Howard, and you have Jimmy Rollins, and you have Shane Victorino, you have Prince Fielder, you have Adam Jones, you have Gary Sheffield, Nick Swisher. So the bulk of it, like 80%, are brothers, which I found interesting just considering baseball is, such a low percentage of African-American players.
I know CeCe and Ryan Howard and Adam Jones are very involved in, baseball at a major league
without a doubt. We just saw him at the All-Star League. Ryan Howard.
They were at this year's All-Star game.
Yeah.
They were at last year's All-Star game. I know that they were at Rickwood Field at the Birmingham game because I interviewed them all.
So there's a part of where players, current players, feel like those players are being used. Because what they're doing is they're saying, hey, man, you guys are coming around trying to feel us out and see what's up and kind of talk to us about it. And eventually the conversation often leads to salary cap. And the players aren't really feeling that because they're like, all right, well, are y'all with us? Former players,
Right.
You get it. You know what the life is like. You know what this is about. Or are y'all with the commissioner where y'all trying to help him get what he wants, which is ultimately what the owners want, which is a salary cap. So then now this to me is an interesting conversation where Rob Manfred is – the argument is, look, we come on here, especially Rob and I, he's Mr. Baseball. We talk about baseball is at a peak right now, and it hadn't been in quite some time.
Yep.
We know the ratings are up. We know the ticket stands of people coming to the games are up. We know they had an amazing World Series, a postseason run, but it was punctuated with the World Series with Dodgers and Yankees. We know guys are getting $700 million in Shohei just to get one up by Soto getting $700 million. And we also know there's no floor. You have the Dodgers spending $400 million, and then you have the Marlins spending like $83 million.
Right.
So you have the players saying, don't cry me broke when we got some franchises who ain't trying to spend nothing, so they ain't broke, you ain't spending nothing. We got other ones that are competing to try to win, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, so on, spending a bunch of money. So the players are saying, what's this all about? And the last time that you used the word a stoppage in play, we had a stoppage in play. The last time you brought it up again, we had to stop the whole season back in 94. And so what Bryce Harper said to him is, we ain't scared to stop the 162. And I don't understand exactly what baseball is trying to do other than owners trying to find a way to make a couple extra bucks because that's what rich people do. You think, oh, well, They got enough. No, rich people love more money. And so I don't get why do it now. Why are you starting to build this adversarial relationship now when things are actually looking up for baseball right now? Things are coming to things. The moves that he's made are positive, speeding up the game. And to me, why are we messing up a good thing? Why are we kind of fracturing relationship? And again, the players don't like that you're using this cap group where they feel as if you're using them as liaisons and spies trying to implement your rules and what you're trying to get done. So maybe I don't understand what baseball's doing other than owners trying to find another way to get a little bit more piece of the pie because they don't need a salary cap. They haven't had a repeat winner in 25 years.
Well, that's what it is. The guys who spend want somebody to stop. That's the salary cap essentially stops owners from spending at the high end, right? This is not going to – if you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, a salary cap's not going to change your life one bit, right? This changes the lives of the Yankees and so on. So our Yankees, Dodgers, and other
Yankees,
teams.
to your point, are Hal Steinbrenner has been one. There's been some owners who have been direct, like we want the salary cap, and then some who have been kind of indirect. He's been one, to your point, he's been kind of indirect. Like, I mean, yeah, we could look into that. So he's been one.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if you guys stopped making me pay $700 million to keep an outfielder.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a team that was in the World Series last year because I didn't want to put $700 million in escrow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to keep the left fielder or right, whatever one I saw that was playing. I forget. But to me, my overall take on this is the idea that the commissioner has created a group of any people. I know some of those guys and respect them.
Oh, without a doubt.
But the idea that the commissioner has created any sort of group to advise, there already is a group. It's called the Players Association.
100%.
Doing this is a direct attempt to circumvent the Players Association, and that is why Bryce Harper tells you to get the F out of my clubhouse, because we're not going for that in baseball. And that's why, like last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, when everybody was up in arms, because how dare the WNBA players have the nerve to wear a shirt that says "Pay us what you owe."
Who you mean, Rob Parker?
He's
go
not.
ahead, continue.
Look, I know he wasn't alone.
Yeah.
But that's what that conversation now, 25, 30, 40 years later, 50 years later, turns into Bryce Harper saying, get the F out of my clubhouse for talking about a salary cap league. And the other thing about the Bryce Harper thing, it's Bryce Harper for the entirety of the time that he plays ball is going to be paid. If there's a salary cap, guess what? He's going to get most of it. He doesn't stand to lose nearly what the other kind of rank and file, what the lefty coming out of the bullpen, the long reliever, what that guy stands to lose, or the
guy who
setup
comes
guy
back and forth from AAA up to the bigs and double A.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not Bryce Harper's life. Bryce Harper's not worried about that. Anywhere he goes for the rest of his career, he'll be starting at a high level, and then he'll be retired. The best players in your league have to be the players who do this type of stuff. So kudos to him for that.
And that's why when we have these NFL conversations and you hear some of the quarterbacks, and I do think that's why you're starting to get a Joe Burrow, to me, who's been way more vocal. That's because a lot of guys kind of go, hey, I just want everybody to get paid. I'm just staying out of it. I understand business to business. Joe Burrow's been he's been like, hey, what's up? Why couldn't we get guys paid earlier? Why can't we be like the Eagles who guys are getting paid? And whether it's possible or not, at least he's being vocal. And they asked him about, they asked Patrick Mahomes to talk about 18-game season and all these things. They're not fully standing on business saying absolutely not over my dead body. And I think that's the difference why the NFLPA has issues. Why you got your Lloyd Howes out here hanging out with Rob at Magic City and doing this and doing that and taking money and not telling them about collusion deals that were made. And for 6 months, they didn't hear about it. Where you have the MLB players, Bryce Harper, one of the best of his generation, and he's standing on business for his team to the point where he's chest to chest, literally that's the report, with Rob Manfred.
This is like the equivalent of Lamar Jackson telling Roger Goodell to F off.
Yeah. And that's what you need. You need your star players big up and standing in the gap for the smaller players so that they know I've got your back. And then me and Rob always talk about this. So that if it comes to it, you have a war chest, we have money, we're going to take care of you, because that's what happens in the NFL. So many guys only got 2 years. I got 3. I don't want to put up a fuss. I don't want to be replacement players and all that. I got to get mine. And baseball is saying we've already created this war chest. We have everything set up for. We got to go through this for 10 games, 20 games, or a whole 162. We're built for this, and we're going to be all right, and we'll take care of you. And I love to see it. But, yeah, using this cap program and these guys, I feel like kind of using them slickly in a way that I think players aren't really appreciating. Some of A.J. Przinsky on his podcast, a few of them had talked to guys about, like, yo, what's really going on here? And they're not saying the guys are bad, as you mentioned. A lot of these are great guys, but they feel uncomfortable with their role. You're kind of in this purgatory. Are y'all with us, the former players, or y'all working with?
Yeah, this is an A and B conversation. What you doing here, C?
Yep, AP. They capping right now.